Well guys, I have officially done it. I have watched the first episode of Game of Thrones. I have officially started my journey with this TV show. Why did I say officially as though it started with an A and not an O? It's gonna be one of those days. So I would love to react to it for you today. Now, if you are new to my channel, you may not know, but I have already read the books. So I've done a whole A Song of Ice and Fire book series review. That is on my channel. I will leave some of the links in the description box for you. But I had never ever watched the Game of Thrones TV show. I am very, very late to the party with this. I am so aware. I don't know why it's taken me this long. Actually, I do know that. That is a complete lie. Sorry, guys. I have been putting this off because I am scared of the gore. That's right. I am a coward. I can read gore, I can read brutality. Can I watch it without it haunting my dreams and turning them into nightmares? Probably not. So I was a little bit apprehensive prior to this because I know what I'm like. I can read brutality. That is fine. No problem at all. Watching it is a whole nother story. But I watched episode 1 and spoiler alert, I flippin' loved it. Let's talk about this amazing TV show that I've only watched one episode of. I'm gonna try and sit up because I feel like this is all forehead right now. Now, I was wondering whether or not to react whilst I was watching the programme or watch the programme and then react. I decided on the latter because I wanted to be fully immersed in this and I didn't want to care about the camera and I didn't want to care about making witty comments and trying to make a good YouTube video. So I thought that I would watch the episode, block out everything else, just watch Game of Thrones Season 1, Episode 1. And I'm so glad that I did that because I felt like I was there. I felt like I was in it. I'd literally been transported from my couch and into the world of Westeros and I cannot believe it. Did I just say that Westeros is a world? Now, I'm assuming that there will be spoilers in this video because although I haven't watched Game of Thrones, I have read the whole A Song of Ice and Fire series. So I'm assuming that I will spoil stuff from the books and it will probably be a spoiler for the TV show, which I'm assuming the storylines are pretty similar. Obviously, I don't know that, but if I spoil something from the book, it might spoil it for the TV show. That was a very, very long-winded, dramatic way of saying, spoiler alert, tread with caution. So the episode starts off at the wall, super creepy vibes, some beautiful snowy scenes. I think this is one of the things that I was most excited for about Game of Thrones was the beautiful scenery. Like, I have seen some screenshots of this TV programme and goodness gracious me, great balls of fire. Like, it looks like a fantastically beautiful TV show. So within 2 minutes of watching the episode, we see some decapitation. I think that pretty much sums up Game of Thrones for you. Did it infiltrate my dreams and turn them into nightmares? No, it did not. So that was hopeful for me that I can get through this series without being a coward. All throughout this episode, I was like, I can't believe I'm watching this. Like, I can't actually believe that I've started my journey with this TV show. And I think I was in a state of shock and disbelief throughout this whole episode. I just couldn't believe it. It was like an out-of-body experience. This is surreal that I'm watching this show. I can't believe I'm actually watching Game of Thrones. I'm watching Game of Thrones. I can't believe it. So we had some blokes in a forest and I sensed bad vibes. Indeed, I was correct. So there was a scene with a mystery figure that I can only assume is one of the others who lashes out at one of the Night's Watch. We don't actually see the other stab the Night's Watch guy. The camera cuts off before he gets stabbed. So I thought, oh, maybe I've completely exaggerated Game of Thrones. Maybe it's not as brutal as I thought it was going to be because otherwise they would have really shown this guy getting murdered. I thought they'd show all the gore. I thought they wouldn't conceal anything. I was surprised. I thought, wow, is Game of Thrones going to be a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be? Is this going to be a really easy watch? And then 1 minute later, we see somebody's head getting chopped off in full detail. So nope, I was wrong. That says it all, really. When the amazing title sequence came on and there was that amazing music, I had tingles all up and down my spine. Genuinely, my hairs on my arms were raised. There was goosebumps all over. And I had one of those moments again where I was like, I can't believe I'm watching this. Did anybody else get that? Like, if you watched it when it came out, did you experience that? Like, did you actually have like tingles going up and down your body? Because I can't believe I've missed out for this long, but I'm so happy I'm doing it now. So, 2 words, Ned Stark. Oh boy, just wow. Just wow, what a man, rip. Kudos to Sean Bean, because what a guy. The entire presentation of Ned Stark in this episode I was in awe of. Perfect casting. I mean, I've only watched one episode, so I can't say for sure, but episode 1, perfect casting for Ned Stark, that's all I'm saying. We also see a very bitchy look that Kat gives Jon Snow, which reignited my hatred for her. I actually forgot how much I disliked this woman. I love Jon Snow. He done nothing wrong. So I started to get connected to the poor bloke from the Night's Watch who gets his head chopped off. So again, we see another head being chopped off in great detail, and that was actually kind of sad because I liked this guy. How much do you reckon he got paid to play like 5 minutes of the entirety of Game of Thrones? Probably more than my yearly salary. I can just feel it that this TV show is going to give me all the emotions. If I look like I'm having a mental breakdown for the next few weeks in all of my future YouTube videos, please remember I am watching Game of Thrones. That is my justification for being actually insane for the next few weeks. So we see the exposed, half-eaten carcass of a deer in a forest. Honestly, the attention to detail is top notch. Like, I could fully believe that that had been a savaged deer. Obviously, it's a prop, but the attention to detail, man. They had flies swarming around it and everything. Great stuff. OMG, the direwolf puppies are absolutely adorable. I do know the inevitable death that is about to come for some of those puppies. I don't think I've ever seen anything that cute since I first laid eyes on my bunny rabbit. Jeez Louise, like that, I have no words, and I will break down in tears the moment that one of them dies, which I know is coming soon, spoiler alert. Jon Snow saying, "I'm not a Stark," and then turning around and seeing his perfect pure white direwolf pup just for him. I could literally feel my heart shatter. I could have cried. I mean, who am I kidding? I was bawling at this moment already. I was already crying. So we're at Jon Arryn's funeral and somebody has painted googly eyes onto some rocks and placed them over his eye sockets. And I know you're not supposed to laugh at that scene, but I actually did. There's a scene where Jon Snow, Robb Stark and Theon Greyjoy are all topless and shaving. All I'm going to say is that in the books, I'm sure they're meant to be like 13, 14, 15. The actors who played them are definitely not, which means that my thoughts about them are okay. I think one of the main things that I already knew going into this is that the actors are casted like a lot older than these characters. So Daenerys is a good example as well. In the show, she is casted as an older actress, but in the book, she's actually a lot younger. I don't need to tell you the reasons for that. Episode 1 displayed that full frontally. I think for me, it's just great to see all the houses come to life, like the sigils, the armour, the banners, everything just coming from page to TV screen, you know, like everything's coming to life. And I think that that is why I'm about to have a breakdown, because I am so invested in the A Song of Ice and Fire book series. So to actually see it, rather than just visualise it, like this is something that I just can't wait for. When Joffrey entered the grounds, I have never hated anybody more in my entire life. I know that he is a young boy, but that is no excuse for being a prick. He hadn't even done anything other than ride a horse, and I already hated him more than I've ever hated anybody in my entire life. And that is because I obviously know what is coming up. Now, I think the scene where Robert Baratheon and Ned Stark speak for the first time, that was pure perfection. So Robert walks up to Ned in a really stern, slow, like a menacing look on his face, and then all he says is to Ned is, "You've gotten fat." And then that look, the facial expression on Ned's face, and they both just start laughing. Oh, that was great. Like, that was pure perfection. Such a great scene. Like, that was, yeah, that had me howling. Now, just imagine watching this for the first time as somebody who hasn't read the books and not knowing how awful Joffrey and Cersei are about to become. Imagine that. Like, imagine the shock. Like, because I'm watching them knowing how awful they are and how evil they are. Imagine if you didn't know that. Mind blown. Now, all I'm going to say is that whoever they casted for Jaime Lannister looks exactly like Prince Charming from Shrek. Spitting image. Like, there is not a single difference between them other than the fact that one of them is animated and one of them is human, but they look the same. So up until the moment where he loses his hand, he is basically Prince Charming from Shrek. Now, poor Daenerys looks absolutely miserable in this episode, and to be honest, she is quite a miserable person throughout the whole series, but for good reason. But we do know that she does eventually turn into somewhat of a badass, so there's no need to worry, it's fine. I quite like the guy that they cast for her brother Viserys, so it's a shame that he dies soon because I kind of like him. Although, I think the actor is good, but obviously we know that Viserys is a dickhead, so it's, you know, he's not a great character. He does deserve to die, so I'm glad that he will, but I think I will miss the actor for him because I feel like he just has quite a cute little face, almost like a puppy. Obviously he's not very nice to Daenerys though, but that is more of an issue with the character rather than the actor. So we get some like foreshadowing when Sansa is literally pleading to her mother to make Ned accept the offer of being Hand of the King, and so that she can marry Joffrey and the houses can like combine and integrate. Oh boy, if she knew what fate had in store for her, she would not be pleading that to her mum. And I think that there's going to be so many moments like that where, because I know what's already going to happen, I'm going to watch people make certain decisions and it's going to really frustrate me, because you can see that if they just done things slightly different, the cause and effect would have been drastically different. Deaths would have been prevented, battles would have been prevented, so much would have been different and so much would have been better. And that was one of those scenes. One thing that did actually surprise me about this episode was that they actually casted somebody for Uncle Benjen Stark. Now, I'd assumed that, because he's not that massive of a character in the books, let's be honest, he kind of just disappears. So I didn't think that they were actually going to cast him, because I'm aware that there are some characters, like side characters, that they've taken out of the show, didn't feel like they were worth casting, and I thought that Benjen was going to be one of those that they maybe spoke about, so he was still a character, they were going to like speak about him and reference him a lot, but they weren't actually going to cast him as an actor. Like, he just came waltzing on in as a fully fledged actor, a fully fledged character. What? Like, I just didn't think that they were going to do that. Now, Arya is such a funny character. So in the books, Arya is one of my favourites. I absolutely love her. I think she is quite inspiring as well in a lot of ways. And I have a feeling I'm going to absolutely love her in the TV show as well. So far, I feel like they've casted her character perfectly. Like, when I was reading about Arya in the books, before I knew who the actress was for her in the TV show, she is basically what I pictured. I think they've casted her so well, and I'm really excited to watch that actress more. Oh, I am just so excited to watch more episodes. Now, I have only watched the first one. I haven't watched any more. I was tempted when episode 1 finished. I was like, shall I watch the second one now? But I thought, nope, because I wanted to film this review, so there's no point me binge watching it, because otherwise I may as well do a whole series review as my first video. Which, by the way, I will do a season 1 review once I finish the whole of season 1, obviously. I just love all the scenery, all the different locations. I just can't wait for this world to come to life, to be honest. Towards the end of the episode, we see the legendary free dragon eggs. Whoop! Now, what do we always say on this channel? If you are a frequent viewer, I've got a thing about dragons, okay? Don't know what that thing is. An obsession? Fetish? I love dragons. Anything to do with dragons, I'm getting chills right now. But when I saw the free dragon eggs, like, my throat kind of wanted to go like, ooh, but my mouth wouldn't let it out because I was embarrassed. So it kind of just made like a turtle noise. Anyway, it was an unimaginable feeling of glee. So the episode ends with Jaime pushing Bran out of the window. Now, we do know that basically for this whole entire series, Bran is unable to walk. So he does lose the use of his legs from, you know, being pushed out a window. Makes sense. Now, I thought the actor for Bran was different. I'm not gonna lie, I have seen a clip of, what is it, like the final episode of season 8, that diabolical episode. Final thoughts. Overall, this is like the best first episode that I've ever seen of a series ever. I just think it was so well put together. It was so perfectly produced. I'm not ready for the journey that's to come. I actually can't believe I've watched the first episode. I genuinely don't think I'm emotionally resilient enough for this. I can't wait. And I can't believe I get to watch this as a first time viewer, but also I kind of know what's coming up. Like, I mean, I don't know whether or not they deviate from the books that much, but I think I kind of know what's coming up because I have read the books, which I think is actually making it a lot more emotive for me. Right, I would love to know your opinions, please, on whether or not I should watch the whole series or stop at like season 5, where the books end, basically. I have been told in the past to not watch the last few seasons of Game of Thrones because it will spoil the show for me, and to just stop where the books leave off, essentially. So when they're not basing it on the books anymore, like just stop at that point. But can I do that knowing that the rest of the seasons are out? I would love to hear your opinions. Help a gal out. You know, what do I do? Do I watch the whole thing or do I stop like midway through? Just so that my view of the show is not tarnished. Because right now, I just think that, you know, that hour of my life that I spent watching that episode, I'm just so grateful for that hour. Like, it was a great hour. I felt great. It was so good. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones in a while, maybe sit down and fully immerse yourself in episode 1. It was a great hour. So like I mentioned, I have not finished the whole of season 1 yet, just episode 1. But I would love to do a season 1 comparison to the book. So stay tuned on my channel for season 1 review, and then so on, you know? Let's start this journey together. And equally, if you haven't watched the TV show, but you have read the books, I would love to chat to you as well. So make sure you leave a comment so that we can keep this conversation going. I feel like I am the only person who hasn't watched the TV show, so I think I am the only person, but I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on the show if you watched it. I think that sums up my review. I haven't quite processed it yet, so I do apologise for maybe the incoherent thoughts and the many mental breakdowns throughout the course of this video. But the bottom line is that I absolutely loved this first episode. I think it was everything that I wanted it to be and more. Like I said, if you wanted to see my reviews on all of the books, then I will leave links for some of those in the description box, and you can also find them on my channel as well, so I do hope that you enjoy those. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I hope you're excited to see me lose all sense of stability over the next few weeks. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it to let me know that you did. I would love for us to talk all things Game of Thrones in the comments, so feel free to leave me whatever you like. And if you have any video requests that you'd like to see me film, I'm always open to that as well. I want to film what you want to see. If you like my content and you want to see more from me and you want to see me review more of Game of Thrones, then please subscribe because it's free and it means that you can see my videos a lot easier. I can't believe I've started this journey. Thank you so much for being here and for joining me with it. I will see you next time, or rather you'll see me, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.